Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here, and coming at you live tonight. Going to talk about getting a blood test of some kind and then being told that, oh, you're fine, not a big deal. I don't know why you're experiencing all of these symptoms associated with having an issue here. You seem fine. Your numbers say you're fine, so clearly you must be fine, but you're like, I don't feel fine, right? Your blood levels only give you a certain viewpoint of what's actually happening in your body versus getting the urine metabolites. So taking a blood test versus a urine test to test your hormones and everything else. And this is why I love Dutch test, love Dutch test, because it tests all of these hormones and all of these things in your body and in your system to where they're actually at and the entire step-by-step process of what's happening in your body and system. So if you have not had a Dutch test, if you've not heard of that, you're like, what? A what? Here's a link in the comments where you can check out Dutch test, get it ordered, it gets sent right to you. I go over the results with you and talk to you about what's actually happening in your system. So here's a very cut and dry way of explaining this, of why it's so different. If you're like, okay, so if it's in my blood, wouldn't it be the same as in my urine? No, because what's free floating and used in your blood system, sometimes those nutrients or other things are either bound or not bound, right? And they're just measuring like a total number versus, oh, here's the actual breakdown and the different steps along the way and how your body's actually processing it through the entire system, and then what actually happens on the way out, right? So that's a very, very different way of looking at it. So they do this with estrogens, progesterones, right? So basic level, I see this all the time. I literally had a Dutch result today that I went over with a gal. She was like, yeah, I got these levels tested. I got them tested. They told me I was fine. I really didn't feel fine. I was having all these issues, a lot of anxiety associated with terrible PMS. Every time I get my period, I'm in so much pain. And yeah, I've gained weight and it's not budging. I'm eating so clean. I've been eating so clean for 2 years, and I keep trying to think, go in every now and then and get something tested or try and figure it out on my own what it is, and I'm not getting any answers anywhere. Dutch test. Dutch test will give you the answers to what you're missing. And it sometimes is very specific, like a key in a lock that that was it. That was the one thing that I was missing, right? So when we're looking at some of these things, right, blood levels versus urine metabolites, we're seeing the whole picture of where your body's processing these issues. So for this gal that I chatted with, she's like, yeah, I've been eating really healthy. I worked with a dietitian, like my nutrition is on point, right, for what it should be, all of these things. And she's like, I'm taking these vitamins, I'm taking these supplements, but I'm still exhausted and I still feel like I'm not getting enough of it, right? And I feel like, this, that, and the other. And she's like, I still feel like I have a stress issue. I still have stress problems. Even though they did a saliva cortisol test and they said it was fine. And I was like, okay, so here's another thing that, again, Dutch tests for when we look at this. And again, I talked about this yesterday too, the metabolized cortisol versus free cortisol. These are two different things. One is, one is free floating in your system and one is tested through your urine, and that's the total cortisol output by your adrenals. So I actually get to see how well your adrenals are working. Are they working really well? Are they doing a good job? Are they totally burned out? Are they cranking overtime for you, right? These all matter into how your process is going to go, right? It really, really matters. So yeah, her cortisol levels, that were regular, yeah, those were fine. Those are smack dab in the middle. When we looked at the metabolite of it and looked at that number, it was completely tanked. I was like, yeah, that's not good. That's not going to feel good. She's like, no, it's awful. I was like, yeah, so these are the things. And then what's funny is that I started describing some other things about how your system typically functions when you have levels like that. And she was like, oh my God, that's me. I thought I was going crazy. And it's like, yeah, you're not going crazy. You just have these different levels here, right? It's just a different process. So another really key important piece here that comes along with this that we find out in this test, in Dutch test, not just estrogens, progesterones, testosterones, cortisol, right? The total level in your system, how it's being processed by your body, and then what's being excreted, but vitamin levels and nutrient levels. Yeah. Again, talking to somebody today, and I said, listen, your system is completely wiped out. Your vitamin and nutrient levels are completely off. And I said, I know you. I believe that you are eating the best clean diet ever, right? Like you're eating all the good nutrients. You're eating avocados and spinach and asparagus and bananas and all these other things that have all these nutrients in them. Your body's not absorbing them. Your body's not getting that nutrient and it's not processing it. So again, you can get all the good, right? Like it's like you're trying to put in the best fuel into the machine, right? Just top shelf stuff going in. And the gears and everything in that machine are totally wonky and they're not using any of it properly and everything falls apart. I was like, that's what's happening in your system. That's what's going on. So of course you're going to be fatigued. You're going to have all these nutrient deficiency symptoms, even though you're taking all this stuff and eating all these things, right? For that, to make it be really good, putting in all the good input, it's not happening in your system. You're not absorbing it. You're not processing. You're not uploading it. Yeah, right? So she's like, well, what's the difference then? I might as well eat ice cream. Might as well. No, but seriously. I was like, it takes a different amount then to help address this issue. We have to help your system work better. Inflammation is going to get in the way of you absorbing nutrients from your food. Inflammation is going to get in the way of you absorbing the vitamins from, again, the clean, pristine diet that you're eating. You're doing all this work eating perfectly, again, putting all that top shelf nutrient into your body, and the gears and machinery is just ruining it all. So you're not getting the benefit. You're not getting the result, right? If we're looking at a math equation here, A plus B equals C, the A plus B looks perfect. The equal sign, the process of it, you're not getting C. You're not getting C. It's getting held up along the way. How do we know that? Dutch test. We know that from Dutch test. We get a specific look at your system, exactly what's happening, and then exactly where to laser focus for your body. And then the other thing too is that, I mean, we can look at how long things will take, right? We can look at how long things will take. Sometimes things turn around faster than others. If we are looking at a hormone imbalance issue, right, something with a cortisol or stress, and your body has a ton of vitamin and nutrient, you're probably going to turn around faster from that. If you're having a stress issue, which aren't we all, right? You know, and you've had a stress issue. And again, this also relates to, women of color, women in the BIPOC community, things like that. Their systems have been under extreme stress for a long period of time, right? So they're more likely to be nutrient deficient. Yeah, which means that when you start working on these things, you have to be even more patient. Flood the body with nutrients. Be even more patient with your system to get it to turn around and be at a better level to actually be functional for you, right? It's like the gas tank is so empty and you've been getting like a thimble at a time to fill it. You got to take a whole bucket, lots of fuel in the tank, right? So if you've got good nutrient levels, this is going to turn around faster. If you're already nutrient depleted, when you start working on some of these things, it's going to take longer and it's going to be a little more of a rough journey, right? So these are things that we talk about. These are things that I want to go over with you. These are things that I want to really assess you specifically, right? Because it matters. If you've been trying some healthy things, if you've been looking and researching and doing all this stuff and you end up feeling so frustrated and stuck still, stop feeling frustrated and stuck. Get a Dutch test sent to you. Again, link is in the comments and we can look at exactly what your system needs to move forward and get on the right track for you, because it's going to be different than somebody else's. Okay. That's a mouthful. I got excited. Other resources that I have for you, my book, The Female Fat Solution. This is on Amazon. I talk about nutrition that matches your hormones and your cycle. My podcast is called The Female Health Solution, and that's on All Places Podcast. And then my YouTube channel is called Dr. Beth Westy, and that is on YouTube. That is on YouTube. You can subscribe to it. All these videos, all these classic videos go on there. Yes. Alberta's asking a question. What's a TSH normal level? Ooh! Oh my gosh. That is a really good question. Can I save that for a whole video tomorrow? I will do an entire video on TSH and thyroid normal video levels tomorrow. Because that is a TSH levels, even sometimes state per state, can be different parameters. I'm in the U.S. I live in the United States. I live in Minneapolis. There are people who, Minneapolis, Minnesota, yeah. I know people view this information from all over the world, so I like to clarify that. We'll talk about thyroid and some of these hormone levels tomorrow. Oh, that's such a good question. I want to devote a whole video to that, a whole video diving into what that is, what that means, if you have a normal level, and then the other levels to get looked at and tested, because that matters. It does matter, absolutely. Okay. Yes, talk about T3 and T4. Yes, Sue, I will. TSH, T3, T4, reverse antibodies. We're going to do it tomorrow. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just can't. I try and be normal, and then it just ends up being like that. Yeah. Anyway. All right. I will see you guys later. Let me know if you have any more questions. Again, if you're watching the replay of this or something, let me know if there's any other things that you need information-wise, help-wise. And here's a resource for you. My mission is to educate women so you can get the tools that you need to make the right decisions for your health moving forward. Now more than ever, it's more important that we take our own health into our own hands. And this is another great tool that you can start to do that. So I'll see you later. Have a great rest of your night.